Hi guys, welcome to Oliveboard's vocabulary series. So today we would be discussing 15 most important words starting with alphabet L. So we've covered till K. Now today we are going to, of course, look at the words starting with alphabet L. These are again very common words you should be familiar with. So you'll get the description, you have to guess the word within the time limit and then we'll discuss it with a sentence. Let's begin. Okay, so the first word description here is deserving praise and commendation, which will be an adjective. It means something which is worthy of praise, right? Commendable, or something which is admirable, which you want to praise, admirable. The answer here is laudable. This is an adjective for which we can write worthy, or admirable. One example for this particular word is through his laudable, which is commendable, and courageous actions, the fireman saved 5 people from a burning building. So this was a commendable thing to do. So he saved 5 people from a burning building. This was laudable, which is commendable. Moving on to our second word. The treatment of a serious matter with humor or lack of due respect. So when you're very light-minded or, carefree, so even the serious matter or topic you will treat with humor, or you will not give the required respect with regards to the topic. So it's a serious matter, but again we are carefree and light-minded. The answer, levity. So guys, this is a noun. This is a noun which means carefreeness, or you can also say light-mindedness. So one example, his remarks injected a note of levity, which is unseriousness, into the proceedings. Means his remarks were such that they brought about certain level of unseriousness, right, into the proceedings. They lacked respect on the matter. Moving on to a third word, feel intense dislike or disgust for something. So basically when you hate something or abhor, so it is another synonym for hate. So definitely it's a verb here. Let's check the answer. Loathe is the word, which is a verb, which means detest. This is read as detest, pronounced as detest, or hate. Example, Misha loathes having to get up so early in the morning. Right? So she hates getting up early in the morning. It's a simple word, guys. A synonym for hate. This verb is loathe. Moving on. Criticize someone or something harshly. So again, it has to be a verb. Criticizing someone, condemning someone, scolding someone. You can say this word is particularly used for that. So that is when you criticize harshly, we use this particular word. Let's check our answer. So you can see lambast is the verb, which means to criticize or condemn. So when you scold someone very badly, harshly, that we say lambast. Example, the coach lambasted the team for its poor play. The team for its poor play. Okay. Moving on to a fifth word. Lacking enthusiasm and determination means when you are very lazy, you do not have the encouragement, you're careless, you're lazy. So it's a word for lazy. I think I've covered it in classes also. It's an interesting word, an adjective, which is a synonym of lazy. So lazy is a very common word. So in place of that, you can use this word. Here is the word lackadaisical. So lackadaisical is an adjective which means lazy. So you can remember like this, lacks energy. So lazy, lacks energy. So lackadaisical is the word here. Example, John has a rather lackadaisical approach very lazy approach, which means to his work. So he's not very determined with regards to his work, right? Not very enthusiastic. So this is a very good word, guys, in place of lazy that you can use. Moving on. Using very few words. Again, somebody who doesn't speak a lot, who uses very few words to describe a thing, an event, means somebody who's very brief, to the point. Not speaking a lot, somebody very, very brief, to the point, concise. Laconic is the word, so it's an adjective which means brief, or you can say concise, short, not using many words, right? One who doesn't speak much, one who doesn't use too many words to describe something. So one example, I don't have all day so please be laconic with your answers. So you're telling somebody that I'm not free for the entire day, so be brief with your answers. Give very brief or concise answers to the questions. Okay. Moving on to our seventh word, again a very common one which we should know. So when we talk about a handwriting or print which is clear, which is easy to read, Okay, so you see some people's handwriting, you cannot even read those. So here we are talking about readable, some handwriting or print form which is readable, which is very clear. We use an adjective for this. So this is your word which definitely you would have heard, legible. Okay, write in legible handwriting, which is readable. Okay, so her handwriting was neat and legible. So it was very neat and legible, which means easy to read, readable. Okay. Moving on to our 8th word, which is a noun, because we are talking about a person who inspires others. Like, see, if we talk about a particular field, he is an expert in that field. So he's a leader or an expert in a particular sphere or a field, right? Who inspires or influences others in that particular field. So well known in that field, inspires others in that field. This is your answer, luminary, which is a noun. Again, a common word. So I can write expert, or you can say leader. Right? Example. Because Dr. Sam is a luminary, in the medical, because he's a luminary in the medical profession. He had a surgical procedure named after him. So because he's so known in this particular field, there's a procedure, surgical procedure named after him. So in this particular field, in the medicine field, in the medical field, he's a luminary. See, he's a person who is very prominent, who is very known. Moving on to our 9th word, a person skilled in foreign languages. I think here you can be very quick with the answer. So one who knows foreign languages. It's a noun, a very, very simple word. So linguist is the noun. So it's just a person who knows very many foreign languages. So her brother was an accomplished linguist. Okay, well with the languages. Moving on to our 10th word, very harmful or destructive, which means something which is deadly, which is fatal. So we use this word for deadly. It's an adjective. Let's check. So lethal is the word here, which is an adjective, which means deadly, or again for that we use fatal, right? Very destructive. So example, Potholes can be lethal. Potholes can be lethal, destructive for the unwary cyclist. For the unwary, which means not aware, cyclist. So somebody who's riding a cycle and going, if he sees potholes, potholes can be very, very destructive for a person, for an unaware cyclist. So potholes means gadde, so it can be destructive, deadly for that person, for a cyclist. Okay, moving to our 11th word, which is an adjective. More tolerant than expected, means when you're not strict, you're forgiving. Tolerant means you're forgiving, you tolerate, you're forgiving, you're sparing. What is the word here? So the answer here is lenient, which is not strict. So I'll just write the synonyms: sparing, forgiving, right? Lenient. Example: he believes the government is lenient, which means not strict, with drug traffickers. So the government is not lenient with drug traffickers, right? Lenient means not at all strict. Moving on, 12th word, of imposing height, which means something which is grand or has a great height, high, which is towering, high, grand. So usually for buildings, when we talk about the height of a building, we use this word. So which is starts with L. The word here is lofty. It's an adjective which means towering, or you can say high. Example: the lofty walls of the castle seemed unattackable. Right? The walls of the castle were so high, were so towering, that the castle seemed that unattackable, means nobody would be able to attack. That was so high. Okay. Moving on to the 13th word. Use something to maximum advantage. So use something, it has to be a verb. To use to its complete advantage. Just guess the word, starts with L, again a common one. So here is your answer. Leverage, it's a verb. Example: the organization needs to leverage use its key resources, means it needs to fully utilize its key resources. So leverage, use something to maximum advantage. This is used as a verb. So we say when it is used as a verb, the meaning is to use something. Okay. Next, heavily loaded or weighed down. This is again an adjective. So when you say overloaded or when you say burdened, here is the word that we use, laden, which is, let me write adjective for overloaded. Example, there was a truck laden with goods. So overloaded with the goods, right? Laden is overloaded. Okay, moving on to our last word. So it's a complicated network of passages or paths, right? A maze. So maze, you understand, a puzzle, a maze. So it's a network which is complicated. We use a noun for this. Labyrinth is the answer here, which is a noun. A complicated puzzle or maze or network when we say. Example, finally, through a labyrinth of corridors, she found his office, right? So there were many complex networks of corridors. So through that maze, through that network, she found his office. Okay, so these were your 15 words starting with alphabet L. Again, these are very common words, so you have to be familiar with it. And guys, please do like this session, share it, and do mention in the comment below for how many word descriptions you were able to give the words. Okay, so out of 15, for how many you were able to guess the word. Do mention that as well, right? I'll see you in the next session, again continuing with the vocabulary series. Thank you.
Subscribe to Oliveboard YouTube channel. Click the bell icon to never miss an update.